We'll come back to you in a minute. Siddharth is speaking to Subramanian Swamy.
The period that the Supreme Court has provided.
Well, it was obvious it has to be done by a transition. You can't suddenly, I think the government can enter into negotiations. Companies which are serious about wanting to continue in the telecom business, they can pay the market price and get their licenses to be continued. They have not said that all the licenses should be automatically auctioned. They have said that the market price should be realized. So I think this is a very, very reasonable thing to have.
That's a very important point, Mr. Swamy, since you're saying, and because there are lots of market reactions. Explain to us, when you say that the Supreme Court has said that these licenses 121 should pay the market price, has it announced a mechanism for that to be determined?
Well, they have not. It is not necessary for them to suggest that. We all know that they are what the market price is, what these people, these newcomers who came like Etisalat and Telenor and the Vodafone and all, what they paid, what Docomo paid. We have got a pretty fair idea. We don't need a market mechanism.
So would it be fair to say that there is some hope for all these licenses, because not all of them have been charged by the CBI for violations so far?
Well, it doesn't matter whether they've been charged or not. All of them have to pay not 1650 crores as they paid, but they will have to pay about 10 times that much.
And that is what the DOT has been asked to do by the Supreme Court. One more quick point, and this has to do with the foreign investors. The foreign investors, as during your own case, had constantly tried to plead themselves by saying that they had nothing to do with the manner in which the government of India then granted the licenses. They came in at a later stage and they should not be penalized. And we are talking about significant companies overseas. Does this verdict send out a bad signal, a negative signal as far as India is concerned as a FDI destination, Mr. Swamy?
I think we have to make it clear to all foreigners that we don't like this kind of tongue-in-cheek approach to our country's investment. They know that it was wrong. When they were ready to pay in the black market, in a sense, when Etisalat and Telenor was ready to pay, when Docomo was ready to pay, when Vodafone was ready to pay, now they should have known that this is all a part of the deal, and they should not have got into the first place. This is what is called transparency. I don't think the foreign investors should think that India is a place where whatever you can get away with, try and get away with it.
My final question to you, and this has to do with some views that are coming in about the cost of spectrum going up and therefore tariffs going up. In the last 2 quarters, we have seen call rates go up. Many of these new operators had claimed that they were responsible for bringing down rates, affecting the financial health of the industry. Is there a fear that by reducing the number of operators in the market and by pricing spectrum at very high stratospheric prices, you are actually trying to hurt the common man in India?
Well, if they had taken the spectrum cheap and then given the services, I can understand. Every one of them sold it to some foreign company. Even Tata sold it to Docomo, half their shares. So where is the question? All the government is doing is that we are not going to let these people earn illegal rent. We are going to, we say this is our money, you give it to us, you give it to Tata, you give it to us instead. So therefore, and that's not an argument, because in 3G there has been no rise in prices.
Finally, what do you think Mr. Sibal and DOT will do?
Well, I think Mr. Sibal should first thing is to resign and then go back to law college.
Always use strong words.
Yeah, well, this is not strong words.
But in terms of policy, what do you think will happen?
There is no policy. Well, there is not. There should be a permanent policy that henceforth either market discovered price or auction on all scarce resources. There is no question of first come, first served or any other discretionary decision making.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swamy. That was Mr. Swamy talking about the implications of the verdict, and one key message that came through his verdict is that there is a ray of hope for all these operators, because the Supreme Court seems to have said that they should be granted spectrum through a market-determined mechanism, which is essentially what we have been talking about the possibility of an auction. If some of these operators therefore do not wish to participate, there could be a possibility that they will be allowed to exit with the money that they paid up as entry fee being forfeited to some extent, and some perhaps being refunded. And those who want to participate in this highly high price auction that is likely to result, they can come in and pay through this open market mechanism, because that is what the 3G example taught the entire country.
Siddharth, very quickly,